all, Violet here, second generation homeschooling mom of 3. I have a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a toddler. Today I wanted to share with you a thrift haul, so let's get into it. So this first stack of books are books that I thrifted at the bookstore More Than Words, which, if you have not heard of them, they're a nonprofit that's sort of local to me. They have 2 locations in the greater Boston area, and their focus is on helping vulnerable youth. So like kids in foster care, kids who have been in and out of the juvenile detention system, things like that. And they do that through two ways. One is that they employ them at the bookstores and they pay them a fair wage, and they teach them all sorts of skills like maintaining inventory and setting up displays and running online bookstores. They have an online portion of their website as well as the in-person locations, and they also run an eBay storefront. I'll link all of that in the description box below. If you're looking for an independent bookstore to order from, I really like all of their stuff. And then the other facet of their outreach is they run all of these programs to help underserviced kids in the greater Boston area. So I really like their bookstores. I really like their mission. So yeah, I try to shop there when I can. It's not super close to me, but I mentioned in my second trimester wrap-up video that we went to see Lynn speak, and she was wonderful. And so last time I went to More Than Words, I was looking specifically for Lynn books so that we would have copies to get signed when we went to see her. So I picked up Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, which was wonderful. And this copy, we did this to it. All of Lynn's books in this series have color, and then they also have, like in each chapter, and then they also have full color illustrations periodically. Lynn is an author and illustrator, so she does the illustrations as well. So we got Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, and then I also found When the Sea Turned to Silver. So that was really exciting. And then my daughter liked these books and liked seeing Grace speak so much that she actually bought the second book in the trilogy, Starry River of the Sky, at the author event. So this one didn't come from More Than Words. It came from a different independent bookstore that had their little display set up at the author event. But yeah, so this is a loosely connected trilogy that features Chinese folklore and mythology. And so each story is set up where there's a main story, and then in between there are little kind of fairy tale or folktale like snippets. So these are really wonderful. We've read the first one and we're going to start the second one soon, hopefully. And then I also picked up Linda Sue Park's A Long Walk to Water and A Single Shard. A Long Walk to Water takes place in Sudan. It's about the lost boys. And I'm hoping that we can read this next year. And it's 2 stories interspersed with each other. One is a slightly more contemporary girl who's walking to water. And that story is fictionalized, but based on real accounts. And then the other portion of the story is one of the Lost Boys stories. And that one is based on a particular Lost Boys story. So I'm excited to read this next year. It's obviously going to be very sad, but I've heard that this book is very moving and very well written and kind of really brings this to life. So I'm excited to read that. And then Linda Sue Park is a Korean American, so she mostly writes books that have to do with like Korean culture and history and heritage. So I also picked up this book, A Single Shard, and this copy is signed by her, which I thought was kind of fun. But this is about a specific kind of, I believe, medieval Korean pottery. Definitely like old Korean pottery, but we haven't read this yet, so I can't tell you 100%. But yeah, this looks really interesting as well. It's about a boy and his journey to become a potter, and all about how they make this very specific kind of Korean pottery. So I don't know when we're going to read this. We actually might not read it until we get to this period of history again, when we cycle through history again, but I did want to get it because I do want to read this at some point. And then the last thing that I got at More Than Words was this book, The Editor. My mom actually recommended this to me. She worked as an editor for a while, and she thought this book was really, really fascinating. It's about the woman who was an editor for Anne Frank's diary. She was Julia Child's editor. She edited all of these very, very important things that shaped American culture. So this is supposed to be really good. I haven't started it yet, but I am looking forward to starting it soon. All right, and then the next chunk of books I have are books that we thrifted online, mostly from thrift books or eBay. Yeah, mostly from thrift books or eBay. My son is really into this Super Rabbit Boy series right now, so I've been showing him how to look up books and find them less expensive used, essentially. He's been using his allowance to buy these. I talk about how my kids do their allowance at the very end of my financial literacy video. I'll link that below if you're interested. So he's been buying the Super Rabbit Boy books. He doesn't have all of them yet, but he's working up towards it. And then one of the other categories that my kids have to spend their allowance on is gifts. So my kids bought my youngest this Bringing in the New Year, which is also by Grace Lynn. We got it autographed, so that Post-it note is just covering my daughter's name. So they thrifted this for her. And then also this Swirl by Swirl book, which I love. I love all of Joyce Sidman's books, and I love all of Beth Cromie's books. I actually don't know if that's how you say her last name, but they've worked together several times, and then they also have books that they've done with other people, and they're just all wonderful. But this is all about spirals in nature, and it has all these creatures labeled, and yeah, I just really like this one. I saw recently that there's a new one kind of continuing this theme that's about fractals in nature. I can't remember what it's called, but I really want to get that one from the library when we can. This next book is called Scroll. I got this for my daughter because she takes Mandarin Chinese classes, and this is about the history of Chinese characters. So we do have a couple of books that incorporate Chinese characters into the story, and this is more about where did the Chinese characters come from, what ancient characters became the modern characters that we know today. So I thought this book was really cool, and she enjoyed it as well. And it was in really good shape too. This next book is called Summer Birds by it's about Maria Sabella Marian. I saw recently that it is out of print now, and it's such a shame. It's part of the Fish Tank Spring unit, and so they have a note about it that if you can't find it, to skip it. But I love this book. Actually, one of my kids' names was partially inspired by Maria Sabella Marian. And yeah, I just really wanted to own a copy. I think the illustrations are lovely, and she was one of the very first naturalists. So her life is incredible. Her paintings are incredible. Yeah, and I really like the illustrations in this book too. So I picked that up. My daughter bought this to give to my son for his birthday, and we have the first book. Actually, I have it over here. The Day the Crayons Quit. These books are just really, really funny. And my son loves this book. It's the crayons writing letters to the kid who uses them with various complaints. And then this one is The Day the Crayons Came Home. So they travel the world and they're sending him postcards. So yeah, these are just really funny. So he really appreciated receiving this. All right, these next few books are books that we actually got out of little free libraries near us. We usually treat little free libraries like libraries and return the books that we check out from them, but occasionally we do come across a book that we just really want to add to our library. So I also always, when we're getting rid of books, try to put them in little free libraries, so we're kind of giving back to the little free libraries as well. So this book is the one that I decided was my favorite when I did my Aesop's Fables comparison video. And so yeah, I was really excited to see it in the little free library because I was planning to purchase it. I just love Jerry Pinkney's storytelling style and his illustrations, and yeah, so I replaced our old collection of Aesop's Fables with this one, and I've been really happy with that choice. This next book I actually showed in my Choose Your Own Adventure books video, so we grabbed this out of the little free library near us. My daughter really, really liked this book. We were checking it out of the library a lot, and so it's just a kind of Choose Your Own Adventure featuring classic fairy tales. So yeah, that one's fun. This next book I was really excited to see, Change Sings by Amanda Gorman. I think I had this in my poetry books video, one of my poetry books videos, but we didn't own it at the time. But our town gave this book out to every rising elementary student. But since my kids are homeschooled, they didn't receive it. But I guess some families either didn't want it, already had it, have more than one kid who got it. And so one of the days we went to the little free library, there were just a bunch of copies stuck in there, or they had extras. I don't know. But I was really excited to see this. I think, especially right now, the very hopeful tone of this book is very helpful to me, especially. And I just really like Amanda Gorman's poetry, so I was excited to find that. This last one is a search and find book, Can You Find It Too? There's a whole series of these Can You Find It books, but they're just search and finds with famous artworks. So they tell you what to look for, and then you find it in the painting. I do wish they had kind of little pictures of what you're searching for over here. Some search and find books do that. I do understand why they don't, because you're searching for two cherubs and they don't look the same and things like that. But even if they just had a picture of one, my kids, I think, would use this more. They both can read now, but especially when they were less strong readers, they would really only do this book if someone would sit and read it with them, because they couldn't do it on their own. So I don't know. I just wish it had little kind of guiding pictures here, but I still like it. It helps us get in a little bit more art study other than what artistic pursuits includes. So that's kind of fun. I pulled Amari and the Night Brothers out of the little free library near us. My daughter really likes Harry Potter right now. Well, I don't know that she really likes it. She's reading Harry Potter right now. She's constantly frustrated by the choices that Harry and his friends are making, and she complains about them endlessly. But she is reading those books. And so this is supposed to be really good and also kind of similar kind of story to Harry Potter, but the main character is a girl, which I thought my daughter would really be all about. So she doesn't want to start this until she's done with Harry Potter, but she is excited to read it. So once we are done reading it, we probably will, well, we'll see. But this may be one that ends up going back to the little free library just because I only have so much space in my house and my daughter's not really a big rereader. So once she's read it, we'll probably be done with it for a while. These next books, actually, somebody at our co-op was getting rid of all of their Minecraft books and had them out to take. My son especially is really into Minecraft right now, so we got these. This is a 2-in-1 book, the Would You Rather and Joke book. So it just has jokes on one side. Not all of them make sense. I don't know. And then on the other side, it has Would You Rather and kind of head-to-head type stuff. And then there's note pages in the center. So my kids liked going through that. These are Minecraft guidebooks. I think these are the old, well, this one says it's updated, but the newer editions of these, the covers are different, and I think the information's a little bit different. I also noticed that these older editions have very glossy pages, and the newer editions that are updated, the pages are matte and just look a little bit less nice, but the information's more current. So anyway, these were free, so we picked them up and my kids had fun perusing them. And then the last thing that I have to show you, one of my friends very kindly gifted my daughter all of these American Girl books, and they have retired the historical dolls, so it can be kind of tricky to find these books. So she gave her the Molly set, that's a World War II girl. Well, let's see the dates at the top. Kit is right before the Great Depression. Kirsten is a pioneer girl, essentially, but she's Scandinavian. Josephina is in Mexico. And I think we have one. And then Felicity is kind of colonial times. So my daughter has read Felicity and she enjoyed it, but she hasn't picked up any of the other ones yet. I think she will get to them eventually. She just kind of has a lot on her library shelf right now, especially as she's working her way through the Harry Potter books. But yeah, those are all the books that we have thrifted or been gifted recently. So yeah, I hope you found that helpful. I will link everything in the description box below. I am trying to move away from Amazon as much as possible, so I am not sure yet at the time of filming this what form the links in the description box will take. Hopefully they will be through bookshop.org, but yeah, take a look down there if you are interested in any of these. Thanks for watching.